What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Nickvember. Nickvember is my month-long celebration in November of all things 90s Nickelodeon. Today we're going to be taking a look at the fifth original Nicktoon on Nickelodeon from the 90s, Aaahh! Real Monsters. But before we get started, guys, if you would, please smash that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to the PopComplex and hit that bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video to the PopComplex so you don't miss a thing. If you're new to the channel, the PopComplex is all things toy collecting, retro pop culture, television, movies, video games, comics, you name it, guys. So let's get started. My name is Matt, and this is the PopComplex. Aaahh! Real Monsters was Nickelodeon's fifth original Nicktoon following Doug, Rugrats, and Ren and Stimpy premiering in 1991 and Rocko's Modern Life premiering in 1993. Aaahh! Real Monsters came a year after the premiere of Rocko's Modern Life, premiering on Nickelodeon on October 29, 1994, and ran until December 6, 1997, with a total of 52 episodes spanning 4 seasons. Aaahh! Real Monsters was co-created by Gabor Csupo and Peter Gaffney. Gabor Csupo was most famous for creating Nickelodeon's second Nicktoon, Rugrats, with his then-wife Arlene Klasky in 1991. The show's co-creator, Peter Gaffney, is also known for his work writing for The Simpsons and ABC Disney's series Recess. At the time, Nickelodeon was still on the lookout for edgy new cartoons to expand their proprietary brand of Nicktoons, so they approached Arlene Klasky and Gabor Csupo for a follow-up cartoon to their highly successful Rugrats. At the time, Gabor Csupo's children were fascinated with monsters, so he decided to create his next cartoon around that concept. Csupo drew up some sketches of his ideas for monsters that were more silly and not too menacing, and Nickelodeon picked up the project. The series Aaahh! Real Monsters follows the continuing daily lives of 3 young monsters attending a monster school hidden under a city dump where they are receiving their education in scaring human beings. These 3 main monster protagonists are Ikus, Oblina, and Crumb. The concept of Aaahh! Real Monsters revolves around a secret world of monsters who learn to scare humans by going to the surface world and practicing their creepy craft by making attempts to scare humans effectively as part of their monster school assignments. Not sure if this idea was inspiration for the team over at Pixar, but the idea seems very akin to their film Monsters, Inc., where the jobs in the monster world consist of scaring humans. This even went on to spawn a prequel by Pixar, Monsters University, where the main protagonists are learning to scare at a monster university. This Nicktoon noticeably turns back the dial on the overt adult humor that its predecessors Rocko's Modern Life and Ren and Stimpy had, choosing rather its characters' quirks and gloomy art style to garner its appeal. Aaahh! Real Monsters is a dark-looking cartoon, but that doesn't mean it's lacking in charm or humor. Let's take a look at the main characters of the show. The first member of the series' terrifying trio is Ikus. Ikus was voiced by Charlie Adler, who among many other voice acting roles was famous for voicing both Ed and Bev Bighead on Rocko's Modern Life, as well as Buster Bunny from Tiny Toons Adventures. Ikus is a short lemur-type monster with huge pointy ears, sometimes getting him mistaken for a bunny. Ikus is mostly nervous and neurotic with a lack of self-confidence. He has a legendary father, a monster named Slickus, who is one of the best and most legendary students of the Monster Academy. Because of this, Ikus has a deep-seated fear that he will never be good enough and that he has some big shoes to fill. But don't underestimate Ikus, because when he can muster up enough courage and confidence, he unleashes his signature scare tactics. His eyes can fill up with blood, he grows ferocious fangs, and he grows many, many times his normal size to scare the living daylights out of his victims. Next, there's Oblina. Oblina was voiced by the talented Christine Cavanaugh, who also most notably brought to life the characters Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory, Babe the Pig, and Chucky from Rugrats. Oblina is known for her extremely thin black and white striped body. Curved at her tail, she can only be described as looking like some sort of Tim Burton-style candy cane. Oblina is easily identifiable as the brains of the trio. She is astute, hardworking, and very dedicated to her studies at the Monster Academy. She is often bickering with Ikus and coming up with ways to get him out of trouble. Oblina comes from a very wealthy monster family, but she never lets her comfortable background affect her attitude and work ethic. To scare humans, Oblina's signature tactics include shape-shifting and reaching inside of herself to pull out her own insides and organs for her victims to see. Oblina can even induce nightmares in humans by sticking her finger in their ear and tickling their brains while they sleep. And rounding out the main monster trio, there's my personal childhood favorite, Crumb. Crumb was voiced by American voice actor David Eccles, who also provided many other voices on the show throughout the series. Crumb is short, small, and very hairy. His defining attribute is that his eyeballs are detached from his body and he holds them in his hands above his head. Crumb is shy, soft-spoken, and timid, and mostly relies on his incredible stench as his main scare tactic. Crumb has a unique set of armpits that feature long protruding tufts of pit hair. Sometimes when Crumb needs to use his hands, he carries his eyeballs in his mouth. At night, when he sleeps, he puts his eyeballs in a glass of water, kind of like a set of dentures. The next main character of the series is the Gromble, the hot-tempered headmaster of the Monster Academy. The Gromble is obviously modeled closely after the head blue meanie from the Beatles animated film Yellow Submarine, with his red lips, huge teeth, and lilting passive-aggressive voice tone. The Gromble can go from seemingly sweet to terrifyingly angry. Although the Gromble exhibits extreme fits of rage, always yelling at his students, it's only his way of expressing his tough love because he really wants to see each of his students reach their full scaring potential. There's also the Snorch. The Snorch is a terrifying, hulking monster at the Monster Academy who administers the punishment for poor academy performance and bad behavior. The students and Gromble refer to this punishment as getting snorched. The Snorch doesn't speak, he only roars and grumbles. His assistant is Zimbo, a one-legged fly-like monster who acts as the Snorch's translator and his eyes and ears reporting any misconduct directly to him. Zimbo was voiced in the series by the legendary Tim Curry, who later went on to continue his work with Nickelodeon by voicing Nigel Thornberry in the Nicktoon The Wild Thornberrys. There was one exception to the Snorch not speaking in the episode I Heard the Snorch Call My Name, in which he volunteers for a voice box allowing him to speak, where he shows a more intelligent and philosophical nature. And finally, the series' recurring antagonist is Simon D. Hunter, or Simon the Monster Hunter. Simon is voiced by actor Jim Belushi. Simon is obsessed with proving to the world that monsters do exist. Although the rest of society thinks that he is crazy, he never lets that stop him from creating the next harebrained gadget that will finally capture a monster and prove to the world that he is right. Although he has encountered Ikus and other monsters, his repeated attempts to prove to the world their existence only come up fruitless. At the Monster Academy, Ikus, Oblina, and Crumb are all roommates, just like in a college dorm, with Crumb sleeping in an old hollowed-out TV. The monsters' homework assignments consist of them going up to the surface of the human world and scaring them in creative and professional ways. The monsters most frequently use the sewer system to come up to the surface through human toilets. This is why Simon the Monster Hunter keeps a lock on his toilet. When the monsters return to class, they are hooked up to a machine that is somehow able to tap into their brain and project video images of their scare onto a screen, after which the Gromble gives them their grade or a good yelling at. Although Aaahh! Real Monsters officially wrapped up on December 6, 1997, their final on-screen Nick appearance was in the 1999 Rugrats episode Ghost Story. Ikus, Crumb, and Oblina appear along with the other monsters at the Academy in one of the baby's imagination sequences, making for a very cool crossover. I have very fond memories of watching Aaahh! Real Monsters as a kid, and I think that it's criminally underrated and doesn't get as much love and recognition as some of its other 90s Nickelodeon counterparts. Overall, a clever concept, creative character design, and very accessible humor make Aaahh! Real Monsters a 1990s Nicktoon classic. Well guys, that was today's Nickvember look at Aaahh! Real Monsters, Nickelodeon's 5th original Nicktoon from the 90s. Once again, if you like this video guys, please smash that like button, share this video to other 90s Nick kids that you know, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button guys and hit the bell to be notified anytime the Pop Complex uploads a new video. You can also, as always, support the channel on Patreon by going to patreon.com/the Pop Complex. There will be a link in the description. And if you haven't checked out my other Nickvember videos for Doug, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, and Rocko's Modern Life, there will be a link in the description. Check those out right now, guys. So guys, have an awesome Nickelodeon 90s day.